What's going on, guys? Back with another presentation. Today is Wednesday, June 10th, 2026. In the land of everything expensive and everybody's overworked and everybody's stressed. But in today's presentation, I want to talk to you guys about there are people, you know, and we have to question these things. Like people say your attitude determines your altitude. Um, I was thinking to myself, there are people who are living their best life and they don't even believe in the most high. Think about that for a moment. There are people who don't believe in the most high, but they're living their best life. And that is enough to prove right there that the most high obviously has favorites. See, logic shuts down spirituality every time. And the more logic you succumb to, the less spirituality you're going to be involved in. See, logic and spirituality cannot coexist, they cannot be on the same page, logic and spirituality, because to truly be caught up in all of that spiritual stuff, you have to be delusional, guys. And I know, there's nothing wrong with believing in the Most High, but you have to question things like there are people who are living their best life. They have the money, they have the fame, they have everything that you could ever imagine. They're living their best life, and yet they don't even believe in the Most High. Meanwhile, some of us pray every day and we were raised going to church or whatnot, and look at our lives compared to these people who don't even believe in the Most High. So, if there are people who don't believe in the Most High, who are living their best life, that ought to tell you something. I mean, that ought to really tell you something. Like, there are people out here in this world, they don't believe in the Most High. And look at their life. They have the looks, they have the money, they have the fame, they have everything that you would desire in this life, but they don't even believe in the Most High. So, so that ought to tell you something. Like, these people who don't believe in the Most High, why are they living better than you who believes in the Most High? I had to ask myself the same question. I grew up going to church, praying to the Most High all the time. And I look at my life, and things haven't been the best. And it's a lot of people's life who things haven't been the best. But when you see people who don't even believe in the Most High, but they are living better than you, that ought to tell you something. People who don't even believe in the Most High, but they living better than you. You know, we even people, even people who think that being a decent person matters. There are people in the world who are not decent people, but they got more money and fame than you'll ever have. There are people in the world who are not decent people, but they're considered attractive. So people overlook their flaws because they're considered attractive. So when you have people in the world who are wicked and corrupted and they're winning in life, that debunks the whole theory that your attitude determines your altitude. That is a lie. When you have a lot of evil, corrupted people who are winning in life, there are a lot of bad people who are winning in life, guys. They are living their best life. They got it going on. They are winning in this thing called life. And, you know, it'll really make you start to question a lot of things. Isn't it safe to say that the Most High favors the people that don't believe in him more than he favors you as a person who does believe in him, but your life is not reflecting the goodness, because you would think the people that believe in the Most High, their life would be prosperous. But there are a lot of people who don't even believe in the Most High. They don't pray, they have no spiritual connection, but they live in a better life than you. They look better than you, got more money than you, got more clout than you. So these are things to question, guys. Like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with believing in the Most High, because it's nothing wrong with believing in the Most High. But there are a lot of things that we have to question as people. Um, if a person never walked in a church a day in their life, but they're smarter than you and they're more in tune with reality than you are, that ought to tell you something about yourself. And the reason, in my personal opinion, why a lot of bad people win in life is because they either have the looks, the money, or the clout. Um, what I had to really get in my head and understand is that it's all about having the results in this life. It's not about what you um it's not about what you believe, it's the results. The results tell you everything, the results in your life. And you have to think to yourself, like, if you don't have good results in your life and you believe in the Most High, that ought to tell you something. You're not one of his favorites. But then again, you have people that don't believe in the Most High and they have way better results than you would ever have in life. I mean, that's something to pay attention to. Like, people who don't have, there are people out there who are not, they never walked in a church, they have no spiritual connection, but they have better results in their life than you. And I believe the reason why that is because a lot of those people are doers. See, people who believe in the Most High, they think that a miracle is going to fall out of the sky. Nothing in life comes to you but a dream. And as if my grandfather used to say, building air castles. The reason to why I believe a lot of the people that don't believe in the Most High and a lot of people who are wicked and evil prosper is because they are proactive. They're not waiting for a handout. They're not waiting for a miracle to fall out of the sky. They're making it happen. They're going after they're going after what they want and seizing the moment. And I mean, it's just the truth, guys. Like, you know, you know, I mean, I'm just telling you guys, like, we have to think about these things, because especially a lot of us who was raised going to church, and a lot of us who was really deep into that growing up as children, we have to think about that. Like, think about the people who don't believe in the Most High, and why is their life more prosperous than you? And you pray all the time. So what I had to understand is that this life is all about results. And a lot of us were brainwashed into believing that, oh, if I just be good, oh, if I just do the right thing, if I just be meek and humble, everything will work out for my good. A lot of us believe that. But what we found out in return, that was so far from the truth. You know, that's what we found out in time. That was so far from the truth because the world doesn't reward being good. The world rewards people who have what it takes to be on top. And that's what I had to understand. Like, the world doesn't reward you being meek and humble and you sitting around praying to the Most High. The world does not reward that. The world rewards people who have the credentials, people who have the credentials in life. And what I had to understand is that a lot of your so called people that don't believe in the Most High, a lot of these corrupted and evil people, a lot of them have the credentials to be on top in this world. They either look good, they either come from money, or they have fame. And what I had to understand is that when you have the credentials, nothing else matters. Those credentials matter. And that's what a lot of us was missing. Like, you know, a lot of us that was raised, within Christianity and brought up in the church, a lot of us wanted to believe that, oh, if you just be a good little boy and if you just pray and get on your knees, you'll get everything you want and everything will work itself out. That is a lie. You got to have the credentials in this world to get where you want to be in life. And the reason why these so called wicked and corrupted people are on top, they got them credentials. But I mean, when you think to yourself about people who have a good life and they don't believe in the Most High, but you believe in the Most High and you got a terrible life, that ought to tell you something. I mean, you have to use logic because some people who are deeply rooted into Christianity and rooted in the church, they would never think about stuff like this. But this is something to think about. Like, how come people who don't believe are living better than the people who believe? I mean, that is a great discussion to have. That's why I'm making this presentation because that is a discussion that a lot of people that believe in the Most High would not want to have. Like, I have to ask myself, what has believing in the Most High really done for me? It's instilled a lot of fear in me because growing up as a child, I was scared, and the reason why I was so timid and scary was because of being raised within Christianity. Um, I truly believe that, believing in the Most High and being raised within Christianity, it instilled a lot of fear within me. It really did. And it's fear that I had to break out of later in life as a grown man, which is sad. And, you know, that's something that people just need to ask themselves. Like, and I'm not saying is anything wrong with believing in a higher power, but there are certain things that we have to question. You have to use logic and reason. There are people in this world who are living their best life. They got they on they live in the life. And I used to think about wonder, like, I'm sitting around praying. There are some people who don't gotta pray. They on a yacht in Monaco, you know, getting slurped up on a yacht, living their best life. Like, I'm praying. There are some people who in Cancun. I'm praying. There are some people who taking a cruise for a whole year and they not worried about anything. They just worried about enjoying themselves and living life. So it's like, you know, when you have these people who are not praying, they're not, saturated within spirituality, and these people are flourishing. They are living their best life. They got it made. That ought to tell you something, you know? And I used to hear people say, your attitude determines your altitude. Well, if that's so true, how come this world is so backwards the way it is? How come the people that try to do the right thing suffer and the people who do the wrong thing win? I truly believe because it all boils down to results. You guys let me know what you think in the comments of this presentation. I truly believe it all boils down to results in life. And I believe it boils down to the credentials. You know, if you know, if a guy here's an example. If a person is considered attractive, right? But they're a bad person, people tend to overlook the flaws of a person if they look good. They could be broke, they could be a terrible human being, but when a person is considered attractive, people ignore people ignore flaws. And a lot of these so-called bad people, a lot of times they're considered attractive, or they have money, or they have fame. And when you have either one of those three things, people tend to ignore the fact that you're a terrible human being, that you're mean, that you're not meek, that you're not humble, that you're a narcissist. People tend to ignore all kind of bad character flaws when you have the halo effect, when you look good, or you have fame or lots of money. So I truly believe this is why the altitude for evil people is at an all-time high, and the altitude for people who are, for people who try to be decent is at an all-time low. And like, it goes back to results. What I had to also understand is that in society, people don't care about people don't care about nothing good. People don't care about morals in society. People don't care about those things. You know, it all boils down to those results. You know, it's all about having those credentials. And I truly believe that is why people who are wicked flourish in this life. You know, and a lot of the wicked, they don't even believe in the Most High. But that's something that you gotta ask yourself. But that's my theory. Why people who don't believe in the Most High prosper more so than people who do acknowledge the Most High, because they have the credentials. You know, if you look good, you got that money, you got fame. If you have one of those three things, it don't matter if you believe in the Most High or not. You still gonna win because you have the credentials. You know, if you're a guy who looks like a supermodel, you gonna live a good life. regardless if you pray to El Shaddai, regardless if you pray to Jehovah Gamola, Jehovah Touch Nosha, it don't matter. If you are, I'm just using this as an example. If you are a man that's considered attractive and you look like a supermodel, you look like one of those model people, you're gonna live a good life because you meet society's beauty expectations. So it wouldn't matter if you believe in Jehovah Gamola, Jehovah Itzidkenu, Jehovah Makedesh. It wouldn't matter who you believe in. You have the receipts, them looks. But you guys let me know what you think about this. And I'll be talking to you guys real soon. Have a good one.